Hey, folks, welcome back to the Dennis Miller Show. I'll be performing at the Orleans Casino and Hotel in Las Vegas, June 13th and 14th. For more information, go to DennisMillerRadio.com and click on Dennis Live. We're taking your phone calls for the rest of the hour. A mini Machina, anything your little heart desires at 866-509-7268. We go to Gary in Illinois. Hey, Gary, how are you?
How you doing, Dennis?
Good.
Dennis, you're always talking about these band groups and things. Years ago, there was a guy by the name of Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders. I used to see them at a place called the Happy Medium in Chicago on Rush Street. Did you ever hear of that group?
You know, I'm getting them all mixed up in my head because I've heard of Eddie Cochran and I've heard of CC Rider by Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, but I don't think I actually know Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders. Were they a rockin' group?
Yes, and there's a guy with long blonde hair, and he had a band behind him, and he'd go into this place, the Happy Medium, he'd rip down the curtains and go nuts. And he was one of the first groups. He was also with a group called Baby Huey and the Babysitters.
Wow. Well, these have slipped through those both have slipped through my knowledge, but it sounds like they stuck in yours, and isn't that what rock and roll is all about? Thank you, Gary in Illinois. Let's go to Brian in Des Moines. Hey, Brian, how are you? You're on the Dennis Miller Show.
Good, Dennis. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Hey, I stopped watching Monday Night Football after you left. Played college football. I think it's a great sport and all that, but thought you might talk about that a little bit. I don't know why you left. I don't follow the news. I kind of stopped watching that a long time ago. But
well, I had fun there for 2 years, but I got fired, and we were picked up for a third year contractually. But when John Madden left Fox, I do remember calling Dan Fouts up in the wilds of Oregon that morning and said, listen, it's time to get your G. Gordon Liddy face on. Just be on the corner you want to be on because we're getting whacked later this afternoon and you don't want innocents hitting the crossfire. He said, why would we be whacked? And I said, well, Madden just left Fox, and I guarantee it's not to sit there and drink, frappuccinos with his wife all day in the Dakota. I think he wants to come with Al. And it makes sense. Listen, we got whacked later that afternoon. Fauci laughed, and I laughed about it. But I had a good 2 years there. I enjoyed it. I know that as far as the country goes, probably half the people hated my guts and half the people liked it. But that's kind of where my career has been made on the mean line. So I'm just happy. Not me line, mean line. I'm just happy I got to do it for 2 years. It was fun, and I got to make many great friends, but Al and Fauci were in the bunker together. So I enjoyed it, but I would have whacked me too if Madden came loose. If I'm ever in L.A. on any given night and I go into the Improv to do comedy and John Madden's on stage, they better haul his fat ass off too. That's the way the world works. Thank you, Brian in Des Moines. 866-509-7268. At least they didn't give me a psychological appraisal there. Did you see this David Gregory story?
I did see that, yes.
This can't be. This can just be a regular, they do hire. God, we had Minnie Guggenheim. Would he have been called a psychological appraisal?
I don't know if it was psychological. His was more technique and radio stuff.
So I think that's what might have happened.
Maybe it was more like
here.
that,
It's talking about branding, and somehow it gets released at Meet the Press, and it's on a slow 3-year ride down in the ratings. Reportedly hired a, quote, psychological consultant last year to work with host David Gregory. I think it's probably just somebody trying to figure out why it's going down, and why it's going down is David Gregory, and that's not even a comment like adverse. It just is. Listen, when I was on Monday Night Football and people hated me, it wasn't like they were wrong. It was like they hated me. And then other people liked me. And you know what I mean? If there's somebody who more people are going to like you or like them, like Madden, you're not going to have that job. And I don't think David Gregory will have this job. And it's no comment on David Gregory, but how many people over the years get dealt Meet the Press? Russert was perfect, so you're even following a perfect guy. And it might just not be your thing. And listen, I've seen it a few times. I don't watch a lot of Sunday morning stuff, and none recently. But it's okay. But it's. I think everybody expects once they pick you for anything that they're guessing too. And in many cases, they're not even guessing like a fan who watches TV does. I'm not convinced most of the people who run TV watch TV. I think they watch it. Christian, you've brushed up against it enough. They're nuts, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you go into those pitch sessions, you think, my God, they'd be better off taking 10 fans and saying, which of these do you like, right?
That would be much better. You get way better shows that way.
Because you go into these meetings, folks, I'm telling you, there are morons who pride themselves not watching TV, in charge of TV. And they watch TV, but only in this bubble of having people come in and pitch it, and then watching focus groups. I'm talking about people who stay home during the week and watch TV would be much better off picking this stuff. I've had questions asked me. I've probably done 5 pitch sessions in my life. I've never had a nibble. I signed an autograph for a guy once, and I wasn't even down the hall and into my car. I got into the car. I must have drove to the gate at NBC out in Burbank, Christian. They had passed on it already. Gervitz called me and said, we just got to pass on it. I said, I just signed an autograph for somebody. It was a pretty good idea, too. It was called Sitcom, STCOM. It took place on a 24-hour stock market channel. This was maybe 8-10 years ago when the market was flush.
Sure.
And I just thought it would be a funny opening to have the thing rush by, with all the abbreviations for the companies on it, and just call it STCM. So you got a good name, and it was about the cast of wacky guys, like Cheers or anything, transpolated into a 24/7 business network on TV. And it sounds like something Sorko would do. I'm sure he'd write better than I did, but it was pretty passable. And I remember having some good jokes in there. I was just thinking as I got down the hall, I go, how does this crap that I see end up on these networks make it when I got passed before I got in the car? It's just amazing to me the things that they give the green light to. But then if they just lean into it, I guess they become big hits. I watched that show one night, honest to God, just to see what the hubbub was about, called Two Broke Girls. Have you ever seen that?
Ooh, yeah, it's rough.
Now, this was in the first season, and they had a Chinese guy in it. And
I believe he's Korean, and there's also Garrett Morris, yeah.
But the jokes were, honest to God, they were things that, if they weren't, I know, covered in some way, aren't they heavy-handed?
Very heavy-handed, yes.
Margaret Cho with her grandmother or something?
Sure.
I mean, that's sort of... Anyway,
it's going to get 100 episodes, though.
Yeah, they'll make tens of millions of dollars off. I don't know if they'll make hundreds, but maybe hundreds, right?
Maybe, yeah. And I mean, that show was created by Whitney Cummings, whose own show got canceled, but that one's going to live on.
So Whitney Cummings will come out of that worth half of... No wonder people take a shot in Hollywood.
Of course.
I mean, she'll come out of that as rich as Croesus. And I don't know. Maybe I'm too tough, or maybe I don't have a hit sitcom, so I don't think I'm angry because I've never really pursued that much. But
it's because you passed on the one I pitched you, which is called Denny ! Where you worked in a restaurant. You just didn't want to do it.
I was in a pilot a couple years ago called Awesome.
Oh, I remember. I read the script. I didn't actually see it, but
they were a bunch. I saw.
Yeah.
One of the kids ended up on Matthew Perry's show. He played the misanthropic guy in a group therapy circle.
Okay, right.
And he was so much fun. I had a great time there that day with them. But I guess the world of sitcoms, folks, think Jackson Pollock if he was throwing crap instead of lacquers up against the canvas. That's what that room felt like to me, where I thought, Jesus, it seems like the most gormless guy is the one highest up the ladder. And then you start going down. And then there's always somebody who has no power in the room who actually usually walks you out, who they have a good instinct. But that's why they're at the bottom of the rung. And exactly. I'm not kidding. If you watch TV, how many shows, Christian, I know you're in this world more, and obviously your wife's just is about to become a big player, penning a Mad Men script. And I'm not I know the rigors that face her too, but geez, what a somebody. But I know you've pitched more than me and stuff like that. It really is a world upside down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like if you give 4 ideas, but, 3 of them are good, but you're putting one in as a joke one because you think it's terrible and you want to see how they react, they're going to take that terrible one.
I remember Judd Apatow told me that they called him after his show got whacked that won an Emmy. The Ben Stiller show.
Sure, yeah.
And he had done a Screw You sketch on his way out about a sock puppet. It was just a tube sock.
I do remember that.
They called him and said, we'd like to option the tube socket. He said it was a joke! Madness. Dennis Miller Show.